The Tornado Hawks football team is having a meeting with fans to discuss salaries. The team president says we cannot afford to be any more generous because our average salary is almost $2 million a year. A fan replies, nonsense. Your average player only makes $850,000 a year. You can easily afford a raise. If they're using the same set of data, how can their quote averages be different? How could such a large difference have occurred? Well, when we look at our data sets, and we'll just say that there's maybe only 5 players. We'll say that one player is getting, and I'm just going to make these smaller numbers. I'll say one player is getting $2, one player is getting $8. I'll say that one player is getting $9, one player is getting $10, and one player is getting $1,000. So when I look at this data set, one of the measures of central tendency we have is the median, and that's the number that's in the middle of the data. Ooh, that was exciting. So if I look at this, there's a middle value right here of 9, so this is our median. Another value of a measure of central tendency that we have is the mean. And for this data set, if I was to look at the mean, obviously this is 10, 2 and 8 is 10, there's another 10, plus 9 is 29. So what I've got here is $1,000, $1,029 is the sum of those numbers, and there are exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in that data set. So if I was to look at this, the mean, right, where I add up and divide by how many values there are, I end up getting this 1,029 divided by 5, and you can see that I have a mean salary of $205. Well, that's a huge discrepancy between these two, right? And what tends to happen is when you look at a data set, when you have values that are extremely large, this $1,000, in comparison to the bulk of the data, you tend to see the mean and the median pull away from each other. And you see that here because of this super large $1,000 value. The mean is pulling away by quite a bit from the median. In fact, it's much, much larger. So that could be what's happening here. It could be that one of the people in the audience is talking about median salaries. What's the middle? And remember, if you're talking about that, it divides the data in half. So if your median is 9, that means that about half of your players are getting paid less than that, right? They're getting paid that much or less than that, and then half your players are getting paid more than that. Well, it doesn't really take into account the fact that some of the players at the top, your superstars, could be getting paid an awful lot of money, and that really distorts what's going on. So that's it for question 29.